This is Max and Mia podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Max and Mia podcast. I'm Max.
And I'm Mia. We are really glad you decided to tune in today. Whether this is your first time here or you've been with us for a while, honestly, thank you. It means a lot.
We put a lot of work into every episode, so knowing that people are actually listening, well, that keeps us going. So, from both of us, thank you.
And if you are enjoying the show, the best thing you can do for us is hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It really helps other people find us, and it lets us know we are on the right track.
All right, enough of that. Let's get into today's episode. You are not going to want to miss this one. Before we get into anything, we actually have a question for you. What do you usually do on weekends? Just pause for a second, think about it. We will come back to that.
And if you already saw the thumbnail or the title of today's video, you probably know where this is going. Today we are talking all about weekends, and more importantly, we are going to learn how to talk about what we usually do, what we did, and what we are planning to do. All in natural, everyday English.
So Mia, I think it is only fair that we answer that question ourselves first. What do you usually get up to on weekends?
Honestly, I am a total homebody. Like, my ideal Saturday is staying in, making a good coffee, maybe watching something on Netflix or just reading. I really recharge by having that quiet time at home. What about you, Max?
I am kind of the opposite, to be honest. I get restless if I stay in too long. I like to get out, see people, explore the city a bit. I would say I am always out doing something, whether it is meeting friends, trying a new place to eat, or just going for a long walk somewhere new.
See? That is already such a natural difference. And it brings us to something really useful for today. Because when someone asks you what you do on weekends, the way you answer says a lot about your personality. And there are some really good expressions in English for that.
So let's talk about that. And we are not going to give you a boring list. We just want to walk you through some expressions that actually come up in real conversations.
Right. So like I said, I am a homebody. That word, homebody, is really common, and it basically means you are someone who prefers being at home rather than going out. You could also say something like, I like keeping it low-key on weekends, which means you prefer relaxed, quiet plans over anything too busy or social.
And on the other side, if you are more like me, you might say, I love going out, or I am always out doing something. Another one I really like is, I need to be on the move. It means you feel better when you are active and doing things, not just sitting still.
Now, for the fitness people out there, instead of just saying, I exercise, which sounds a bit flat, you could say, I work out a lot, or I am really into fitness. And if you want to sound even more natural, try, I like staying active, or I try to keep moving during the weekend.
Those are great because they sound like something a real person would actually say, not something out of a textbook.
Exactly. And here is another category that comes up a lot, which is people who are really into their hobbies. So instead of saying, I have hobbies, you could say, I am really into photography, or I spend most of my weekends painting, or even, I have been getting into cooking lately. That phrase, getting into something, means you have recently started enjoying it or doing it more often.
Oh, that is a good one. And then there are people who are very social on weekends. Instead of just, I hang out with friends, you could say, I catch up with friends, which sounds much more natural. Catching up means spending time with someone you have not seen in a while and talking about what is going on in your lives.
Love that one. Okay, I think we have a pretty solid set of expressions now, so let us put them to use.
All right, so let's do a little role play. Imagine two people who just met, maybe at work or through a mutual friend, and one of them asks the classic question.
So that conversation would be something like this. Hey Max, what do you usually do on weekends? Do you have a routine, or is it different every week?
Honestly, it changes depending on how the week went. If work has been really intense, I just need to get out and move, you know? So I might go for a long run in the morning or meet up with some friends for lunch. I hate feeling stuck at home when I have 2 full days to actually enjoy.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I am kind of the opposite, though. Like, during the week, I am around people all day, so by Friday, I am honestly craving that time alone. I usually keep it pretty low-key. Maybe go to a market in the morning, come back, cook something, and just decompress.
That sounds really nice, actually. Do you ever feel like you are missing out, though? Like, do your friends ever give you a hard time for not going out?
Sometimes, yeah. But I think I have just learned what works for me. I might catch up with a friend for coffee on Sunday, but I need that Saturday to just reset. What about you? Do you ever have a chill weekend, or is it always go, go, go?
I mean, occasionally, if I am tired enough, but I get really restless if I do nothing for too long. I actually started getting into hiking a few months ago, so now at least one weekend a month I try to do a proper trail somewhere outside the city.
Oh, nice. See, that is the thing. When you find something you are genuinely into, it does not even feel like exercise. It just feels like something you want to do.
Exactly. All right, and that is where we are going to pause the role play for now.
Okay, so now let's move on to another question that comes up all the time when talking about weekends. And that is, what are you doing this weekend? Or what are you going to do? And this is actually where a lot of intermediate learners can make a really big leap forward.
Right, because the most common thing we see at a beginner level is using will for absolutely everything. And look, we want to be clear. There is nothing wrong with will. It is correct, it is useful, and we are going to come back to it in a second. But if you want to sound more natural, more like someone who has been speaking English for a while, you need to get comfortable with a few other options.
So, let's break it down. And the first one is probably the most important shift you can make, which is using the present continuous for fixed plans. So, when you already have something arranged, something in your calendar, something you have already agreed to do with another person, native speakers almost always use the present continuous for that.
So instead of saying, I will meet my friends on Saturday, someone who speaks naturally would say, I am meeting my friends on Saturday. The plan is already set. It is already happening. That is why we use the present continuous. And when you ask someone about their plans, you would say something like, are you doing anything special this weekend? Not, will you do something special? That second one just does not sound natural at all.
Exactly. Now, the second structure is going to, and a lot of people already know this one. But what they might not know is that in spoken English, especially in casual conversation, people almost always shorten it to gonna. So I am going to go hiking becomes I am gonna go hiking. Same meaning, much more natural in speech.
And going to is great for plans that you have already decided on but maybe have not fully arranged yet. Like you have made the decision in your head. You know what you want to do, but it is not quite as fixed as the present continuous. The line between the two can be a little blurry sometimes, and that is totally fine. The important thing is that you start using them instead of defaulting to will every single time.
And speaking of will, let's give it its moment because it is still very much alive in these conversations. Will works really well for spontaneous decisions, things you decide in the moment, or promises. So if someone says, I cannot find anyone to help me move on Saturday, and you decide right then and there to help, you say, I will help you. Not I am going to help you, because you just decided that in that moment.
Perfect. And now, the one that we really want you to take away from today, because this is honestly one of the clearest differences between a basic level and an intermediate level. And that is using modal verbs like might or may for plans that are not confirmed yet.
This is so useful and so underused. If you are not sure whether you are going to do something, instead of saying, I will maybe go to the gym, which sounds a bit off, you would say, I might go to the gym, but I am not sure yet. Or, I may go out later. It depends on how I feel. It adds so much nuance to the way you express yourself.
And nuance is really the key word here. It is not about being more complicated, it is about being more precise. Might tells the other person that this is a possibility, not a commitment. And that is a very real and very common thing to want to say when someone asks about your weekend plans.
Absolutely. So, just to put it all together in your head before we move on, you have got the present continuous for things that are already arranged. Going to or gonna for things you have decided but maybe not fully locked in. Will for spontaneous decisions or promises. And might or may for things that are uncertain. 4 structures, all useful, all natural.
And now, to hear all of this in action, we have a conversation between 2 friends catching up and talking about their weekend plans. But here is the thing we want you to pay attention to. One of them is speaking at a more intermediate level, and the other one at a more basic level. See if you can spot the difference.
Hey, so what are you doing this weekend? You got anything going on?
Yeah, actually, I'm meeting Cassie for brunch on Saturday morning. We've been trying to lock that in for like 3 weeks, so it's finally happening.
Oh, nice. Where are you guys going?
That new spot on Waverly, I think it's called Fern or something. I've never been, but Cassie keeps saying it's good, so I'm just going with it.
Sounds good. I will probably go to my cousin's place on Saturday. We usually watch the game together when there's something on.
Oh yeah, which cousin? Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler. It's kind of like our thing, you know? Every few weeks we just do that.
That's cool. I love that. Do you have anything after?
I don't know. Maybe you'll go to the mall or something. I need new shoes, but I haven't decided yet.
Okay, yeah. I might head to that outdoor market downtown after brunch, honestly. I've been wanting to check it out for a while, but it really just depends on how long we end up staying. You know how brunch goes.
Yeah, especially with Cassie.
Especially with Cassie, exactly. The woman cannot just have one coffee and leave.
True. What about Sunday?
Sunday, I'm going to try to go for a run in the morning, like early, before it gets too warm. And then my sister's coming over in the afternoon, so that's pretty much the day.
What are you guys doing?
Nothing major, just hanging out at mine. We'll probably order something and watch a movie or whatever. I haven't really figured it out yet. What about you? Anything Sunday?
I will probably just stay in, to be honest. Maybe I'll call my parents. I haven't talked to them in a bit. And I think I will try to go to the gym at some point. I've been skipping way too much lately.
Ha, same. I keep telling myself I'm going to, and then Sunday morning comes and I just look at my running shoes and no.
Yeah, it's hard.
It really is. I might actually try to go Friday evening, though, before the weekend gets away from me. That way I don't have to think about it.
Oh, that's smart. Maybe I will do that too.
See, look at us being productive.
Let's see if it actually happens.
Right? I wouldn't bet on it, but the intention is there, and that counts for something.
Sure it does.
All right, so did you catch it? Could you tell who was who?
If you noticed that Sloane kept using things like I'm meeting, I'm gonna, and I might head to the market, while Brett was mostly saying I will go, I will probably, maybe I will, then you were absolutely right. And again, Brett did not say anything wrong. Everything he said was perfectly correct. He just kept reaching for the same tool every single time, and that is exactly what gives away someone who is still building their range in English.
The difference is not about making mistakes. It is about having options. And the more comfortable you get with all four of those structures, the more natural you are going to sound in any conversation.
All right, so we have covered how to talk about what you usually do on weekends and how to talk about what you are planning to do. But there is one more question we have not touched on yet, and honestly, it might be the one you hear the most on a Monday morning.
So, how was your weekend? Or, what did you get up to? If you have ever been in an English-speaking environment, someone has definitely asked you this. And this is where the past tense comes in.
Now, the foundation here is the simple past. That is the main tense you are going to use to tell someone what happened. And the real challenge at this level is not really the structure, because most people already know it. It is two things: irregular verbs and pronunciation of regular ones.
Right? So, with irregular verbs, there is no shortcut. You just have to know them. But the good news is that the ones that come up most in weekend conversations are actually pretty manageable. You went somewhere, you saw something, you ate something, you caught up with someone. Went, saw, ate, caught. Those four alone will get you really far.
And then with regular verbs, the structure is simple. You just add ed, but the pronunciation is where people sometimes slip. Watched is not watchied, it is just watched. Stayed is stayed, one syllable at the end. Worked is worked. It is a small thing, but it makes a big difference in how natural you sound.
Okay, so that is simple past. Now, here is something that takes your storytelling up a notch, and that is the past continuous. You use it when you want to set the scene, to describe what was already happening before something else came along.
Think of it like a camera shot. The past continuous is the background, and the simple past is the moment that interrupts it or happens inside it. So you might say something like, I was watching a documentary when I fell asleep. You were in the middle of watching, and then at some point you fell asleep. The watching is the scene. The falling asleep is the event.
Or, we were just sitting in the park when it started raining. You get the picture. It adds texture to the story. It makes it feel like you are actually there telling it, not just listing facts.
And then there is one more thing we want to bring in, which is quantifiers. And this one is especially useful when you are talking about food, drinks, or anything you maybe overdid a little over the weekend.
Relatable.
Very relatable. So instead of just saying, I ate a lot, You can be way more expressive. I ate way too many carbs. We had a lot of food. I drank too much coffee and could not sleep. That phrase, way too much or way too many, is really natural in spoken English, and it adds a lot of personality to what you are saying.
And people use it all the time. I spent way too much money. We stayed out way too late. Once you start noticing it, you will hear it everywhere.
Exactly. So, simple past to tell the story, past continuous to set the scene, and quantifiers to add color and personality. Now, let's hear what that sounds like when two friends are actually talking.
Sloane and Brett are back, but this time it is Monday morning, and someone is asking the other one how the weekend went.
Hey, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
Oh, it was good, actually. Saturday was a bit of a slow start. I was just lying in bed scrolling through my phone when I realized it was almost 11. So I kind of forced myself to get up and do something.
Classic.
Right? So I went to that outdoor market I was telling you about, and honestly, I'm so glad I went. I walked around for like 2 hours, found this little stand that sold homemade jams, and I bought way too many. I don't even know what I was thinking.
How many did you buy?
I bought 4 jars of jam. I live alone, Brett.
That's amazing.
It really was a problem. But anyway, after that, I met up with Cassie for a late lunch, and we just sat there for hours catching up. It was really nice. We hadn't seen each other in a while, so there was a lot to talk about.
Oh, nice. Did you go out at night?
No, I was honestly way too tired by then. I had home, made dinner, and I was watching some show, and I just completely knocked out on the couch. Woke up at like 2 in the morning with the TV still on.
That's the dream, honestly.
It kind of was. What about you? How was yours?
It was good. I went to Tyler's on Saturday and we watched the game. It was a really good match. We stayed there for a long time.
Oh yeah? Who won?
We won, finally. So after the game, we went to a bar near his place and had some drinks. We ate a lot of food too, wings and fries and all that. I felt terrible on Sunday morning.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I woke up and I didn't want to move, so I stayed home the whole day. I watched some movies and called my parents in the afternoon. It was a very lazy Sunday.
Honestly, sometimes that's exactly what you need, though.
Yeah, it was good. I did go to the gym in the evening, actually. I felt bad about all the food from Saturday.
Damage control.
Exactly. Did it work? Probably not. But I went.
That counts for something. Honestly, your weekend sounds pretty solid. Game, bar, lazy Sunday, gym guilt trip.
That's my life, pretty much.
Could be worse.
True.
Okay, so this time around, the gap between the two levels is really clear if you know what to listen for. And the main thing is not that one of them made mistakes, because neither of them did. It is all about how much texture and detail each one brought to the story.
Brett told the story. Sloane painted it. Did you notice that? Brett said, "We watched the game, we went to a bar, I stayed home." All simple past, all correct, but very straightforward. Sloane, on the other hand, used the past continuous to set scenes. I was lying in bed when I realized it was almost 11. I was watching a show when I knocked out on the couch. You can actually picture what was happening.
And then the quantifiers. I bought way too many jars. We ate a lot of food. I felt terrible. Those small additions make the story feel lived in, not just reported. That is the difference between someone who is telling you what happened and someone who is actually taking you there.
So if there is one thing to take from this, it is that the simple past is your foundation, but the past continuous and those expressive quantifiers are what turn a flat recap into an actual story worth listening to.
And on that note, that is a wrap for today's episode. We really hope this was useful for you, whether you are just starting to push past the basics or you are already at an intermediate level and looking to sharpen things up.
We covered a lot of ground today, from how to talk about what you usually do, to future plans, to recapping the weekend like a natural. And if you made it all the way to the end, honestly, thank you. That means a lot to us.
If you enjoyed the episode, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. It is the best way to support what we do, and it helps other people find us too.
We will see you in the next one. Take care.
Bye, everyone.